Your brain is being quietly rewired, and you probably haven't noticed yet. Short form video isn't just entertainment. Studies are now linking heavy short form use to weaker attention control. But here's the part: no one tells you it's happening to you while you think you're just relaxing. Researchers are also connecting daily use to measurable changes in impulse control. One of the items on this list explains something called attention residue, and once you understand it, you'll never look at your phone the same way. Number 3 catches almost everyone off guard. Number 1, every swipe trains your brain to expect instant reward and reject effort. Here's something most people don't realize. Every time you swipe to the next reel and something makes you smile or laugh or feel surprised, your brain logs that. It gets a small hit of dopamine, and that feels good. So it wants more, fast. The problem is your brain is incredibly adaptable. If you give it quick rewards hundreds of times a day, it starts to expect that pace everywhere. So when you sit down to read a chapter of a book or write something or study, your brain pushes back. Not because you're lazy, because you've trained it to expect a payoff in under 15 seconds. Think about the last time you tried to focus on something that took real effort. Did you find yourself reaching for your phone almost immediately? That's not a coincidence. That's your reward system talking. A student might sit down to study for 30 minutes and find themselves on their phone within 3. A professional might open a document and feel a pull to check social media before typing a single word. The effort hasn't changed. What changed is what your brain now considers normal. The fix isn't willpower. It's recognizing that this is a trained pattern, which means it can be untrained. Number 2, there is no stopping point. The app is designed to remove the moment you could quit. Think about the last time you sat down to watch reels for just a few minutes. What actually happened? Chances are 10 minutes became 30, 30 became an hour, and you didn't decide to stay that long. You just never got a clear moment to stop. That's not an accident. Traditional media had natural breaks. An episode ends, a chapter finishes, a commercial plays. Those pauses gave your brain a moment to decide. Infinite scroll removes that decision entirely. There's no end of page, no signal that says now is a good time to put this down. There's just the next video already loading before you finish the last one. Most people dramatically underestimate how much time they spend this way. You might tell yourself it's 15 minutes a day, but without tracking it, many people discover it's closer to 90 minutes or more. That's nearly 11 hours every week. Time that could go towards something you actually care about, a side project, time with family, learning something new. One practical thing you can do right now: check your screen time report on your phone, not to feel bad about it, just to see the actual number. Most people are genuinely surprised, and seeing the real number is often the first thing that creates a shift. Number 3, switching between new ideas every few seconds rewires how your brain handles deep thought. This one is the most underestimated danger on this list, and is the one most people never connect to their daily scrolling. Short-form content is built on constant switching. A new face, a new idea, a new sound, a new emotion. Every few seconds, your brain is asked to shift, and it adapts to that. Neuroplasticity works in both directions. Your brain gets better at what you practice. If you practice rapid switching all day, your brain gets very good at switching and very uncomfortable staying with one thing. You might notice this if you sit down to read an article or a long email. Halfway through, your attention just kind of drifts. Or you're in a conversation and your mind keeps wandering. Or you start a task but find it nearly impossible to stay in it for more than a few minutes without feeling restless. That's not distraction. That's a trained pattern. Researchers have used the term cognitive fragmentation to describe the way rapid switching media consumption can affect how we process information. The effect isn't always dramatic. It creeps in slowly. 1 month, you can read for an hour with no problem. 6 months later, 20 minutes feels like a stretch. That slow change is the danger because most people blame stress, age, or busyness before they ever question the habit that's quietly doing the damage. Number 4, you don't fully choose what you watch, an algorithm chooses for you based on what keeps you hooked. Here's a question worth sitting with. Who decided what you watched the last time you opened your feed? You might say you did, but the honest answer is more complicated than that. Every platform running short form video uses a recommendation algorithm. It watches what you finish, what you replay, what you pause on, what you skip. It builds a detailed picture of what holds your attention, and then it uses that picture to serve you more of the same. Not more of what's true, not more of what's useful, more of what keeps you watching. The goal of the algorithm is not your growth or your well-being. It's your continued engagement, because your time on the platform translates directly into ad revenue. Your attention is the product being sold. Think of it this way. If a company could legally sit in your living room and curate everything you see and hear for hours every day and profit from doing it, you'd probably want to know about it. That's essentially what's happening. And most people never think of it that way. This doesn't mean the content is always worthless. Some of it is genuinely good, but the selection process was never designed with you in mind. Taking some control back, even just setting a time limit or choosing what you search for rather than letting the feed decide, changes the dynamic completely. Number 5, even after you put the phone down, your brain stays scattered, and that window is where your best work lives. You put the phone down, you open your laptop, you're ready to work, but something feels off. Your mind keeps drifting, you can't quite settle in, you're physically present but mentally still somewhere in the scroll. There's actually a name for this. Researchers call it attention residue. The idea is that when you switch from one thing to another, especially something highly stimulating like a short form video feed, part of your brain stays behind. It keeps processing what it just saw, and that leftover mental noise competes directly with the new task you're trying to focus on. The result is that even the hours you have available for real work, real creativity, real thinking get quietly stolen. Not by scrolling itself, but by the aftermath of it. Here's a real example. Someone decides to be productive in the evening. They'll work for 2 hours, but they spend 30 minutes on reels just before sitting down. Now, their first 45 minutes of that work session are foggy, slow, and frustrating. They get half the output they could have. The session feels useless. They feel like they're just not a focused person. But the real issue is timing. What you do right before focus work matters enormously. Protecting that window, keeping it free from the scroll, is one of the highest leverage changes you can make. Of everything on this list, the one worth remembering most is this. You don't just lose time to the scroll, you lose the mental clarity that makes your remaining time actually count. Try 7 days without reels or shorts, just as a test, and pay attention to what changes. Have you ever noticed your focus feeling foggy right after you put the phone down? Tell me what that's like for you in the comments.